Not all bonds start with blood. Some start with a look. This is the story of two cats who came from completely different lives, who never should have belonged to each other, and who somehow found their way into a bond neither of them was looking for. The tabby and white one came first, soft brown stripes, a round face, a body built for curling into small, warm spaces. She had always been careful, watchful, the kind of cat who checked a room twice before walking into it. The tuxedo came later, black and white, sharp lines, bright green eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. He arrived quieter than expected. No hissing, no hiding under furniture for weeks, just a steady, careful presence, like he already understood this was a place he needed to be gentle in. Nobody knew much about where he'd been before. There were guesses, a few rough patches on his ears, a wariness around loud voices that faded slower than it should have. Whatever he'd lived through, he carried it quietly, folded somewhere deep, the way some animals simply learn to hold things without letting them show. She, on the other hand, had grown up in this house from the time she was small enough to fit in one hand. She knew every creak in the floor, every warm patch of afternoon sun, every hiding spot behind the curtains. This was her world long before he ever walked through the door. So when he arrived, it wasn't just two cats meeting, it was one rhythm colliding gently with another, and neither of them quite knowing yet what to make of it. At first, they kept their distance, different corners of the house, different windows, different rhythms entirely. She would nap by the heater in the morning. He would sit by the door in the afternoon, watching it like he expected someone to walk through at any moment. Nobody introduced them properly. There was no slow, careful meeting behind a cracked door, no weeks of scent swapping. They simply existed in the same space, and little by little, that space got smaller. It started with proximity. She would sit on one end of the couch, he would sit on the other, not touching, not even looking at each other, but close enough that if you glanced over, you'd think they'd planned it. Then it became something more. One evening, I noticed them both perched on the same windowsill, shoulder to shoulder, watching a bird move across the yard. Neither of them turned to look at the other. They didn't need to. They were simply there, together, watching the same small piece of the world. That became a pattern. Wherever one went, the other eventually followed. Not immediately, not obviously, but within minutes, you'd find them in the same room, often in the same patch of sunlight, often close enough that their fur would touch. I started to notice something stranger too. They moved like they were listening to each other. A sound in the kitchen and both heads would turn at once. A knock at the door and both cats would freeze mid-motion, ears swiveling the same direction, eyes locking onto the same spot. It wasn't coincidence, not after the 10th time, not after the 100th. There's a photo I keep coming back to, both of them sitting side by side, looking up and to the right at exactly the same moment, exactly the same angle, like they'd rehearsed it. I hadn't called them, I hadn't made a sound. Something outside that frame had caught both their attention at once, and their reaction was identical, synchronized, like two halves of the same thought. I still don't fully understand how that happens between two animals who share no blood, no history, no reason to move in sync, but it does, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Hey, if stories like this pull you in the way they pull me in, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It really does mean a lot, and it helps keep these stories coming. Their personalities never merged into one. That's the part people don't expect. She stayed cautious, always the first to notice a change in the room, always the one who paused before committing to anything new. He stayed bold, the one who walked towards strange sounds instead of away from them, the one who claimed the highest shelf in the house like it belonged to him. But somewhere between her caution and his boldness, they built something that worked. When she hesitated at the top of the stairs, unsure about the dark hallway below, he would walk down first. Not because anyone taught him to, he just did it, every single time, like it was simply his job. When he got too bold, chasing something under the furniture and getting himself stuck, she was the one who sat beside the gap and waited, not moving, not leaving, until he found his way back out. They started sleeping curled together, her tail draped over his back, his paw resting against her side. Two completely different cats from two completely different beginnings, folding into the same shape every single night. One afternoon, a loud crash came from another room, something falling, glass maybe, sharp and sudden. Before I even reached the doorway, I found them already there, side by side, bodies low, eyes locked on the same spot, moving as if they shared a single nervous system. That's when it really hit me. This wasn't two cats who happened to live in the same house. This was something closer to family, the kind you don't choose by blood, but by presence, by time, by simply choosing to stay close when you didn't have to. A few weeks later, she got sick. Nothing severe, just enough to slow her down, enough to keep her curled in one spot for a few days instead of moving through the house the way she normally did. She stopped eating as much. She stopped following the sunlight from room to room. He noticed before I did. He stopped claiming the high shelf. He stopped chasing sounds through the hallway. Instead, he stayed low, close to her, lying just near enough that she could feel him without having to move. He didn't groom her or fuss over her the way you'd expect from some dramatic reunion scene. He just stayed. Hour after hour, he simply stayed, like his presence alone was doing something her medicine couldn't. When she started to feel better, when she stood up on her own for the first time in days and walked slowly toward her food bowl, he walked right behind her, matching her pace exactly, not once moving ahead. I don't know if he understood what was happening to her. I don't know if cats process worry the way we do, but I know what I saw, and what I saw looked exactly like someone refusing to leave another person's side until they knew for certain that they were going to be okay. People ask me sometimes if cats can really form bonds like that, deep ones, the kind we usually only expect from creatures who've known each other since birth. I used to wonder the same thing, but watching these two, I stopped wondering. I started believing that connection isn't about where you come from, it's about what you choose, moment after moment, to stand beside. They weren't born siblings, nobody planned this for them. But somewhere along the way, without a single dramatic moment, without anyone deciding it for them, they chose each other. And once that choice was made, neither of them ever looked back. If this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs a little reminder that family isn't only about blood. Sometimes it's about who shows up, who stays close, who chooses you again and again without ever being asked. Because that's really what this is, not two cats sharing a house, two hearts that found each other in a world that gave them no reason to. So here's what I keep asking myself. Do you think animals choose their bonds the way we do? Or is it something deeper, something instinctive that we'll never fully understand? Tell me what you think in the comments.